I'm Adam Housley in Los Angeles. You know, we talked about security and your computer and the internet so many times over the course of the last 3 or 4 years that a lot of these security efforts really are simple. I mean, it can be as simple as watching out where you log on to Wi-Fi. Here to talk all about it is Sean Murphy. He's the CEO and founder of SNDR.com. You can find him on Twitter at PrivateSean. That's S-H-A-U-N, by the way. You know, I'm looking at my notes right now, in fact, even on this. There are a lot of issues, you know, with all the increased access to public Wi-Fi, whether it be at a hotel, whether it be at a coffee shop, that comes with obvious security concerns and really puts you in a lot of ways can put you in some very difficult situations.
Well, certainly, yeah, and we're starting to see an uptick of actual exploits and problems, especially in touristy areas around where I live, but in airports, coffee shops, like you mentioned, and people are very vulnerable.
Is there any way to tell if your computer is at risk?
Well, certainly. Anytime that you connect to an open Wi-Fi access point, you're putting yourself at risk. You know, unless you're the one that actually installed the access point and operates it, you have absolutely no idea who else is on that network, who's listening on that network, and who can get your data, and maybe even more sinister, who can modify the data coming back to your device and your apps.
What can you do? I know we've talked about this before, but what can you do that's if you have no choice? I mean, a lot of people, unfortunately, will get to a coffee shop and say, listen, I got to have Wi-Fi access. What can be done to secure yourself to be able to use public Wi-Fi? Can it be done?
Well, certainly. You know, the first thing to do is really limit the amount of stuff that you're trying to access. And, you know, with web browsing, you know, the general wisdom is don't access your email, don't access your social media, anything that has a username and password, because those can be captured or modified in some way. So just general browsing is, you know, it's typically fine. But when you use apps, when you use, you know, secure websites, a lot of times you don't know if you're being harmed by these type of access points. So what I always recommend is, you know, first and foremost, if it's a very important information, just wait till you have a secure access point to connect to or a cellular data connection. But if you have to do it. You know, you can explore a VPN, a virtual private network, or you can use your web browser instead of using an app. A lot of times a web browser will inform you if you're connected to an unsafe network, and it will just stop the connection if that's the case.
Are there any plugins, software, things you can put on your phone or your computer or tablet to help with this whole process? Because you're telling me that apps, right now, apps are the easiest to get into when you're on public Wi-Fi.
Well, certainly. A lot of times when apps are developed, they're developed in a way that they don't connect securely over the internet, or they're flawed in some way. Web browsers, modern web browsers for all mobile devices, laptops, you name it, they have built-in protection already. And so when you check your email, when you check your banking account, it will pop up a warning. It'll typically be in the title bar where it'll say HTTPS:/, and there might be a big red X on it. There might be a big lock icon with a line through it. And that's telling you right then and there that the network that you're connected to is not secure and, in fact, might be intercepted in some way.
And is there any way you can hide yourself? Let's say, for example, you're on the road, you don't have cell service, you got to be able to access your email to get some information off of it, or you have to, unfortunately, access a bank account. So is there a way to make yourself more secure? Is there anything you can do to at least make it more difficult? Because as we know, if a thief's walking down the street, he's going to go into the house that's open. He's going to go to the house where the lights are off, the house where there's less, you know, there's less activity. Same idea, I assume, when it comes to online security.
That's correct. I mean, you know, the game is always trying to limit your exposure and trying to, you know, make reasonable trade-offs. And a lot of times, you know, you're fine on the Wi-Fi. If it's just a legitimate coffee shop Wi-Fi, you're absolutely going to be fine. They're probably not stiffing your traffic. But there's always a chance that there's, you know, some person sitting in the corner that's pretending to be the coffee Wi-Fi, and that's where the problem comes in a lot of the times. And so what I really recommend is don't use mobile apps. Use your web browser, because it will tell you if you're, you know, you're secure or not.
All right, Sean Murphy, CEO and founder of SNDR.com.